2020 marks the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which guarantees and protects women's constitutional right to vote. In honor of this momentous and important occasion, the Polk County History Center has assembled a new exhibit that chronicles the women's suffrage movement on both national and local levels. Check this out to see some highlights from the opening night of the exhibit and to learn about the significance of the 19th Amendment from Historic Preservation Manager Myrtice Young.
2020 marks the centennial anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, giving women the right to vote. We, as Historical Center, a center of education and learning, recognize that this is such an important opportunity for us to bring to mind keeping the Constitution, the United States Constitution, at the forefront of our discussion this year and talk about not only women's rights to vote, but the entire theme of democracy, the entire theme of civil responsibility. What does it mean to be an American citizen? Does my voice matter? So throughout the year, our hope and our plan is to bring this discussion to the forefront, stimulate thought, stimulate conversation, and stimulate an opportunity for people to think about and talk about that right to vote and what that means. You know, as you open an exhibit, you want to bring a feeling of reality, a feeling of emotion and drama to the opening. Our exhibits at the History Center are very text-rich. They're beautiful. We're very fortunate that we have a great designer, but they're facts, and it's history, and it's a lot of text. So when we have an opening, we like to do it with a little bit of drama. So our opening was a very exciting night as Ruth Bryan Owen came to life in the museum, portrayed by J. Lenore Bristler. And she brought this character, Florida's first Congresswoman, Florida's first lady to serve in the state. She brought her to life and told her story and her life accomplishments as a lady congresswoman, and a lady who brought attention to the importance of local elections.
You know, I was born in Jacksonville, Illinois, but I'm far more recognized as being around Jacksonville, Florida. I must tell you, being back here, I live in Copenhagen, Denmark now, but being back here, it's made me very reminiscent, very nostalgic. Those orange blossoms, the smell of them, I couldn't help myself. I went back and dug through my old storage boxes and I got out my sign from my 1928 campaign when I ran for the 4th Congressional District of Florida. Yes, I did. It said, "Spirit of Florida." I put that on the back of my 1928 green Ford Coupe, and I drove and drove over 16,000 miles and over 700 speeches in a 3-month period. Well, but here we are, commemorating the 19th Amendment back in 1919 and feeling nostalgic again. I enjoyed so much going back and finding the clothes I wore during that era. It's been a while. I don't look quite the same as I did back then, but 1919. I well remember that. I was already 34, but I remember thinking, I thought it was so ridiculous that here we were in the modern era, in the second decade of the 20th century, and votes for women was controversy. I mean, in the Stone Age, I could not understand it. But I guess some people, and by that I have to say, yes, women too, was not just the men that were against women suffrage at one time, but our women friends as well. They just couldn't see it. But I guess by 1919, it was the time had come for that message.
The birth of an exhibit. How does that happen? The first thing I went to was the Polk County History Center library and discovered in a Florida Quarterly a lovely article that had been written several years ago about a state author about women of the suffrage movement. So the exhibit started there with our own research, and then we branched that out, archives, national archives, other archives around the state, doing research, compiling photographs and images. We work with a local design firm, and they do all of the graphics, all the design, the fabrication, and the installation of the exhibit. So for this particular exhibit, we have designed it to be a complementary exhibit for an upcoming Smithsonian exhibit that will be here at the History Center in October. It is a traveling exhibit that is a replica or is designed to have the same story as the national exhibit in Washington, D.C., which is about democracy. So the exhibit is one very important part of the project. That is the stationary story, the interpretation of the suffrage movement. And hopefully from reading that history and reading about the women who were involved in this movement, it stimulates thought about the Constitution and what it means to be an American citizen with a right to vote. In all the exhibits that we bring into the History Center, we try to focus on the local story. That's our mission, is Polk County history. But of course, our history doesn't occur just within the boundaries of the United States or just within the boundaries of Polk County, but it extends in what's happening nationally and internationally. So the exhibit features the suffrage movement as it occurred all over the United States, but we focus also on women, local women, who participated very vigorously in the suffrage movement. One such lady is Mary B. Jewett, a name I'm sure people have heard but may not have connected her with this very important time in history. So she is featured in the exhibit, her role in participating as a suffragette and some of the accomplishments that she was involved with. A little known fact is that actually women in Florida were given the right to vote in municipal elections before 1920. And one such municipality is Florence Villa, and that is closely tied to the endeavors of Mary B. Jewett. So I hope everybody comes in and reads that story. Winter Haven is proud of this name, but all of Polk County is very proud of her involvement in the suffrage movement. Another feature that we like to offer in exhibits is an opportunity for the visitor to participate in the exhibit. So you'll find some interactive pieces in the exhibit. So while you're studying, reading, and learning about this important time in history, we have 3 areas where you can actually participate. One is a chalkboard that gives you an opportunity to write out why you vote. And we have had some very interesting, whimsical answers to that question. And after you give us your impression on why you vote, don't miss the web of protest. This gives you, it's very artistic. It gives you an opportunity to participate in the development of a web using the 3 colors of the suffrage movement to vote on your opinions about certain protest activities. Don't miss that. And then of course there's the mirror where you actually can create a self-image of a suffragette. So don't miss that. Read the exhibit, but don't forget the interactive pieces. They're really fun. In addition to the text in the exhibit, there are lovely, lovely posters that have been created. They're life-size posters that have been installed in the exhibit, and those are really fun and interesting and very dramatic, and in their own way tell a story, a very emotional, dramatic story about this period in history. This was not a walk in the park for these ladies. These ladies were arrested. They were put in prison, and some of these images portray that drama that they went through. So we want you to be able to see this, experience this, and also realize that the exhibit will be in place for 3 years. The Smithsonian portion will be traveling, I think it's 35 states in the United States over the next 5 years. So we wanted to correspond closely to that traveling schedule. So we will have this exhibit in place for 3 years.
For more information on upcoming programming and exhibits at the Polk County History Center, visit polk-county.net/history-center.